I casually patted the boss's secretary on the butt, but she wasn't angry at all, and even winked at me flirtatiously. Unfortunately, the boss saw this whole scene, and just like that, I was fired.
This is your last day at RBE, Tom.
I walked downstairs feeling lost and dejected when I suddenly noticed a man in a suit secretly picking up someone else's suitcase. So I quietly followed him and discovered the elevator he took stopped at the floor where my company was located. I immediately got on the elevator too, and then I discovered something terrifying. He was actually a criminal. He then took the suitcase to the file room to plant an incendiary bomb, planning to burn this place to ashes. I hurried through the hallway, heading to the break room to call the police. But there was another colleague who hadn't left work yet. I quickly explained the situation to him. We then escaped into the elevator, only to find it had been locked. We had to go to the fire escape, but all the exits had been sabotaged by the criminal. So we decided to split up. I told my colleague to get online and call the police, while I went back to my desk to get my phone. But as soon as I got to the hallway, I saw the criminal's shadow, which scared me into running back immediately. My colleague had just connected to the internet when I quickly covered his mouth because the criminal had already followed us in. When he came into the office, the criminal immediately noticed the computer screen was on. I hid under the desk and peeked out to see what was happening. I could see his feet standing right in front of me, and we were too scared to make a sound. The criminal thought an employee forgot to turn off the computer, so he unplugged it and continued searching elsewhere. After the criminal left, we ran in the opposite direction from him. Then I remembered the boss was still in the company, so I told my colleague to find a way to call the police while I went to notify the boss. But when I got to the boss's office, I found it completely empty. My colleague found his own phone, but his first priority was to call his wife. Just as the call connected, the criminal was already standing behind him. Soon after, I also rushed back to the office area, but my colleague was nowhere to be seen. I quietly snuck to my desk, and after getting my phone, I immediately dialed the police. But the phone didn't respond for a long time. Then I realized my phone was dead. I had to charge my phone first, but the criminal suddenly came back again. Luckily, I hid in time, so he didn't discover me. While the criminal wasn't paying attention, I quickly got up and quietly hid in the storage room. Just when I thought I was about to be exposed, I was completely desperate. But at that moment, the criminal suddenly stopped. It turned out my girlfriend had called. The criminal hung up the call, then looked through the photos and names on the phone. This meant I had already been discovered. After that, I had to hide in another room. I lit a piece of paper on fire and held it up to the smoke detector, but after waiting forever, there was no response. I suddenly noticed someone in the building across from us. I waved frantically at that person, but they didn't notice me, and the criminal was walking toward me.